Welcome back to Behind the Bolt with Nick Hardwick, and this segment is now titled The Fuddruckers One-on-One with my good pal Philip Rivers. Phil, heading into your 12th season, how do you feel physically?
Physically, I feel great. If you'd asked me at the end of last year, I couldn't have answered it that way, but it was a good off season, gradually got healthier and healthier, and rolling into this season, I feel as good as I felt.
I always knew you were a tough sucker. I thought you were the toughest guy I've ever played with. But I'm getting ready for this interview, and I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, and I'm thinking of standing in the pocket. You must be incredibly brave to stand there with men that want to annihilate you.
Well, it comes over time, and it came with a lot of repetition. I can definitely tell you. Those first times, thinking back to when I first started playing 7th, 8th, 9th grade, you feel all these people running around you, breathing, and you think, this is scary in here. And obviously, the more experience you have, the more comfortable you are. But a lot is going on around you in a really tight space. It's really crazy when you watch it. If you kind of remove yourself from it, you go, man, look at all the bodies and hands and people flying around. And there you are kind of standing in the phone booth.
They literally want to hurt you. Is that what fires you up in the middle of a game, when somebody hits you and you feel it and you kind of get that fight or flight?
It's hard to say you like getting hit, but there's really nothing more gratifying than letting one go and just getting killed and seeing a completion, hearing the roar. Sometimes you don't see them, but hearing the roar, throwing a touchdown, and having this big 300-pounder that's down you that's like, we were just late. There's something about that does feel good, even though you feel it later on.
When you have moments like that and you get up and you're talking smack, it seems like you're right in your prime, and that's when you're playing at your highest levels. Is that fire? Is that one of your greatest strengths?
Yeah, I always have felt I'm a little better when it's a little chippy, and that's why it's funny in the third preseason game, when Seattle comes in here, more of that was made than needed to be, but it was kind of fun to be in a little scrap, kind of, a little one kind of got it going. It kind of started, hey, this feels like a regular season game.
It makes it worthwhile.
It feels like a regular season game. So as you all know, and the problem is the offensive linemen, sometimes it makes their job a little harder. So I'm always careful with whose buttons you push. You don't want to make the wrong guy mad.
Yeah, don't poke the big one.
No question.
Is it also one of your weaknesses? Could that fire be viewed as one of your weaknesses?
Well, I think maybe years ago. I think and years ago, even though I do think it was misinterpreted and misunderstood, there were times when maybe you got a little carried away. And you got too involved in that, But now I think I'm way past that. You kind of let that stuff come as it comes. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come.
Right.
And I do think now it's not misunderstood. And thankfully, I always felt over time that your true self would win over in the end.
And it did.
But early on, I think it was misunderstood. But there's no question I had to temper that to make sure it didn't become a distraction or take away from my play.
What is your favorite aspect of football? 3rd down, 2-minute, blitz pickup, checks and audibles at the line?
Well, a favorite aspect of football is the guys in the locker room. So if you're asking just football, that's my favorite part. But as far as the game,
what do you nerd out on? What's your
protections, protections, and the no huddle part of it. And Gates and the guys give me a hard time. They go, "Oh, here you go. This is what you love to do. You're waving guys off. You're making checks. You're doing all this stuff." But that's what I grew up watching. As a kid, it was watching these guys and seeing them go through it and bark out the cadence and then tell a guy what to do. That's what I did in the front yard by myself.
That's why you want to be the quarterback.
That's what I did.
Who'd you envision yourself as when you played through somebody as a kid?
Well, I had posters on my wall.
Yeah.
I was a college football fan, so I had all the SEC schools, their pennants, the flags.
More college than pro?
Yeah, of the teams, but of the pro, I was the quarterbacks, and it was Marino and Montana, and then Favre and Aikman and Peyton.
Yeah.
So as I got a little older, it was Peyton and Favre were kind of the two guys that were they were playing in the pros, and I wasn't in college yet. And then I got to start against them and play against them and lead a team to beat them. You got
to shake their hand at the captain's circle.
So those moments were awesome. Thinking about, gosh, I used to watch you when I was a kid and think how cool it'd be to be like one of you. And now you're getting to play against them.
They went out in the offseason and made a lot of improvements. Stevie Johnson, Jacoby Jones, Orlando Franklin, Melvin Gordon. You've got an arsenal of weapons on offense this year. Is this the most powerful unit you've commanded?
I think it can be. I'm always hesitant to short the teams we've had in the past. Some of the teams we
Sure.
were on back in the day when we thought, goodness, I don't know if we'll ever be stopped. So I don't want to short those teams, but yet I do think we're capable of. We have the capability to be that type of group. We're so diverse, and I always say this, and thank goodness we have unselfish guys, because really I don't know who's going to get the ball any given week. I don't know who's going to be the guy to have 8 catches. It really could change every week. And the guys up front, you mentioned Orlando. Of course, Watt moves in there at center. Joe Barksdale in there at right tackle. Fluker bumps down. King's been holding it down there at left. It's a big group.
Oh my gosh.
Big group. They like football. They got a little something to them that I think is good.
It had to make you comfortable to see King come pick up a guy off you after a sack and say, this isn't happening here.
Yeah.
Orlando Franklin's got that fighter's mentality.
It's a heck of a group, and it's funny because King, I was telling him, hey, it's partly my fault. I was holding the guy down. I didn't make
riling him up.
I didn't make it easy for you to get him off. So sorry about it. He gets a penalty and all this, and he's like, and his response is, I'll do it again right now. So
right.
It is. It's those type of guys, which I've always been thankful for. All the guys when you were here. It means something to you to know the guys care about you that much, and some of these guys I've only known a short time, so I've tried to build that in a hurry. I want them to care about me in a hurry, so
right.
they protect with that same type of vigor and want to as all the guys have always had.
What's the message to the team heading into week 1?
Well, I think, you would always know what it was in my mind leading up to the week, what I've been thinking about. And, it's something I told the offense just a couple weeks ago. Now, I normally don't share stuff I say in there, but it's there's no secret to it. But I just said over all the years we were together, those 11 years, and now our offenses have always been made up, and I think our team really has been made up of guys that will play hard, guys that are tough, and guys that play together. Yeah. And I think those 3 things, there's nothing casual about our game. There really isn't. Now, you can have a good touchdown dance, you can look sweet in your uniform, but there's really nothing casual about it. It's playing hard, and you got to be tough. You got to be tough for 20 weeks. And then you got to play together. You got to play for the guy next to you. And so I think that's it. I think that's really what it boils down to for me. And our team's been formed now. We kind of see what the makeup of our team is going to be roster-wise. Mm-hmm. And now we go. And we know it's a long deal. We'll probably stumble at some point along the way. Hopefully not anytime soon. But we know we're gonna grind it for 20 weeks and be there standing at the end.